The college basketball experience, Colonial Conference Preview Edition, aka the CAA baby edition on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Underdog is hooking up new customers. Play just $5 and get 100 in bonus funds when you sign up with the promo code TCESGPN. And welcome everybody into the college basketball experience. Colonial. Yes, it is the Colonial. Don't let anybody tell you what their new name is. I'm already pissing people off to start the episode. Yeah, doing what I do best, baby. Love the CAA, regionality at its finest. Somewhat local to me here in the state of Virginia. So grew up watching this league, seen teams come and go. The new version, 13 teams. We'll talk about it all over here at the College Experience. Quadruple header here tonight. CAA, SoCon, Summit. We got you covered all night long, and football later tonight. So stay tuned. You don't need to go anywhere tonight. If you're wondering who you're listening to, I am Moneyline Mac, a.k.a. the former video coordinator for Bob Huggins and Frank Martin. Oh, on repeat.
Encore.
Hard to keep this party going. Happy Tuesday, Taco Tuesday, wherever you are. Joining me to talk CAA hoops. You guys know him from the state of Michigan. He is a LeBaron driving, cocktail napkin having. He is Noah Bienick, a.k.a. Noah B77. What's up, bro?
How's it going, guys? Checking in for quarter one of the four-quarter game, hopefully, tonight of TCE. And I'm also hoping that groundbreaking news in the college baseball coaching world will not hit during this marathon that we've got going tonight.
There's a good chance because we'll probably be on the air till about 9, 10 o'clock. And then, I'll be on air till like 11. So, yeah, let's go, baby. Let's keep this party going. Joining us to talk CAA. You guys saw him last night over here at the College Experience. Co-host of the Pump Fake Pod. He is Michael Huffer, a.k.a. Huff Puff. What's up, bro?
Hey, what's up? So glad to be back talking CAA, especially. This conference is great. Colonial. So that's the truth. That's the blood of it. And, great teams all around. So happy to be here. Thanks for having me and looking forward to talking about a good conference and watching this conference, even though they're a flow sports conference.
Oh, God, you just reminded me about damn flow sports. I'm in a bad mood. So, yeah.
Sometimes CBS Sports Network.
Check your flow subscriptions, everybody. But Noah, before I hand it over to you, last year Towson wins regular season, Wilmington wins the tournament, Charleston at the top. We've kind of seen the clear-cut top-tier programs in this league. So how did we do last year on our predictions?
Yeah, so we had going through and listening to the three that we're going to do today. There was one conference that I totally swept up and another conference that you swept up and then another conference that we both did pretty dang well on. This is the one where I didn't drill a single one. And Mac did pretty damn well. So Mac picked Towson as the regular season champ. Mac had UNCW as the tournament champ.
Oh, yeah.
And Drexel as the sleeper. They were picked 11th last year in the preseason. They go 9-9, finish right in the middle of the pack. That is definitely a check mark there. What was that? Tied for 7th. And then the one he did get wrong was Monmouth. Monmouth was both of our bust/disappointment picks. They were picked 8th in the preseason, and they outperformed that, finishing tied for 5th. We both mentioned that we hated putting that label on our guy King Rice, but it was a roster that we didn't necessarily like. I had one correct with Drexel as my sleeper as well, along with Mac. So I went 25%. Mac hit 75%. That's 100% if you add them both up, right? Hopefully you don't add both of them up and come up with the actual percentage of 50% because I sucked last year in this conference preview. But yeah, the CAA. I really do feel like you hit the nail on the head at the top of the show. You got 3 teams that I feel have separated themselves from the pack. We have one new name in the coaching ranks in this conference, and that's John Andrzejek, coming in after winning a national title with Florida. Go Gators. He is the Campbell head coach. He just kind of comes in with a whole analytic approach that the entire Florida coaching staff had adopted and was at the forefront of, and ended up using throughout the NCAA tournament effectively and resulting in a national championship. Campbell's the first team that we talk about, so don't feel afraid to, kind of give your full thoughts on this. Campbell's new head coach, Mac.
I'm glad that you let it off with the pronunciation, Andrzejek. So real quick, Huff, just your overall thoughts on this league before we dive into those Campbells.
Yeah, I feel like it's always like you have that random sleeper, but as you guys mentioned, those top dogs of UNCW, Towson, Charleston that we've seen in the past years, they're going to be kind of continuous amongst this college landscape. But overall, great conference. You have teams that are kind of heavy defensive on the defensive side with a lot of depth, and then you got your star kind of powered offensive heavy teams that run up tempo. So I love when those styles get to clash in this conference, and we get to see it more so than other conferences. That's what I've always liked with the systems that they've been in. And we'll see today a lot of coaches with longevity as well too that knows how to win in this conference. And I think that's always fun to see in this rank of just everybody moving portal wise and also in the coaches. So I'm excited to see that and always about this conference. So I love it. Definitely some volatility outside of the top 3. And I think we're going to see that again continuing this year.
Let's fucking go, man. So let's dive into these first, but I'll shout out our NBA gambling podcast. I will not shout out the NBA, but I'll shout out our podcast. It's called the NBA Gambling Podcast. I think the season starts tonight, so daily picks and podcasts. Tune in to the NBA Gambling Podcast where they'll break down all that load management. So get on over there and subscribe to the NBA Gambling Podcast.
Do we know if anybody's sitting out the opening night?
I think LeBron. I think I just saw it across the ticker. I was like, how the fuck are you out opening night? What the hell's he been doing all offseason? It's not like they did anything in the playoffs. I mean, that's sport. Ridiculous.
Rockets are starting KD at shooting guard too. I thought that was interesting. Of like they're tall ball after being small ball for years under Morey. So.
Honestly, I couldn't have even told you that Kevin Durant was playing for Houston this year, honestly.
Oh, yeah. The only reason I know is because him and Kay Adams always pop up on my feed talking about their dating life. It's a little weird going on over there.
Wait, they're dating each other?
There's just some flirtatious vibes.
Yeah, there's some weird shit popping up on my shit. I'm wondering what the hell's going on. But anyway.
Didn't know that either. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You gotta stay locked in, Bienick. That's my NBA content for the night. Yeah. Give it 2 weeks. Durant will be on instead of small ball, big ball, whatever. It'll be no ball. He'll be on load management like everybody else. So.
Oh, for sure.
Let's go over to the Campbell's though. You mentioned it.
Andrzejek.
Andrzejek.
Sure.
Close.
Andrzejek.
I'm gonna fucking butcher these fucking names. He comes over after spending the last 3 seasons with Todd Golden. He was also at Wazoo with Kyle Smith, and he's part of that tree that just has had a lot of success with Kyle Smith and Todd Golden. So, first year head coach. We've seen these guys have success, whether it's at Columbia, San Francisco, Wazoo, Florida, obviously winning a natty, comes from a good tree. And Kevin McGeehan, after a decade plus manning the sideline, they make a change. What do you think of the year 1 here, Noah?
Yeah, I think the CAA, just as a whole, before we dive into all of these team previews, there's not really the entire transfer portal grab bag team, but there's not really like a team that returns so much continuity that it's hard to really avoid, and that you have to really predict them to win the conference. It's a nice mix of in between that you don't really see a ton in this era, so that's okay. And then I really do think that, there's a couple of returners here. One returning starter, Cam Gregory, who played 30 minutes a game for the Camels last year. He's a 6'5" senior guard. Not a great shooting year for him, and we're not quite sure what kind of role he's going to play for this team alongside other returners, Tassos Cook, Brock Bidwell, and Israel Yaw. What the Florida staff did really well over, I don't know how many years they've been there now, and Golden did the same thing at San Francisco, is they go in and handpick these guys in the transfer portal that fit their system of 3 and a little bit of D, especially around the rim. They want some size and length. And I think they hit the nail on the head with a couple of the guys here that they bring in. One of them being DJ Smith, in from Robert Morris. He was the point guard last year for the Colonials in Moon Township, PA. 3 assists a game for him, 9 points per game. He shot 4 threes a game at a 39.5% clip. That's a big piece for this team, this Campbell team this year. Alongside a couple other guys like Enoch Kalambe, a graduate senior 6'6" wing from Western Kentucky. Jeremiah Johnson coming in from Green Bay after playing 23 minutes his freshman year, averaging 10.5, 4.5 with over an assist per game. With Doug Gottlieb, can't imagine that this situation with Campbell could be any worse than with Green Bay. So I think he's going to take a step up in production as well. And then the 2 forwards here that they bring in, or I'll even say they've got 3 forwards here that are going to play meaningful minutes. Dovydas Butka from Pepperdine. He's probably the biggest name here. He's 6'9", junior, 29.5 minutes a game last year, 9.5 points, 6 boards, over 2 assists. He's going to be, that sort of rim protector that Campbell's also looking for. And he can step out and shoot the 3 ball. He doesn't shoot it great, but he can give you that element of offense to provide some spacing on that end of the floor, whereas Chris Fields isn't necessarily your deep ball shooter. He's a 6'7" junior forward from Norfolk State, played 17.5 minutes a game last year, averaged 8.5 and 4.5. And then Munir Newton is the other graduate senior coming in from Delaware State that might play some role in that front court. Campbell is a team that I want to be relatively high on. Yes, it's a brand new head coach, and it is a lot of new pieces here, but I do have a soft spot for Andrzejek, and I've seen that work with now San Francisco, Florida, and he's part of that good coaching tree of both Kyle Smith and now what Todd Golden's got, because he lost everybody of that coaching staff. So I've got Campbell in my top half. Again, not quite sure what the identity could be this year outside of the 3-and-D, and I'm interested to see what's going to happen. Huffer, how high or low are you on Campbell this season?
Yeah, I'm pretty high on this team. I like that Andrzejek, who he gets to work under and who he's been with, Golden, Kyle Smith, another coach that I really like. And they're going to test themselves in the non-conference too, looking at their schedule. Trips to Gonzaga, West Virginia, Mac, Wisconsin in the Kohl Center. Wake Forest even. So I think they're going to compete definitely in the non-conference, and that's going to translate well for CAA play. And a couple players that you mentioned in Bucka coming from Pepperdine, DJ Smith from Robert Morris. I think those guys, their game translates completely well to the CAA and the style of play, and they're going to be immediate pieces like you mentioned. So I'm excited to see this system come to life. I think they're definitely going to win games regardless that he's a first-year coach in this CAA versus some of these veterans, but I'm not too worried about that because they're talented. And I feel like Campbell's building their basketball program up and moving in the right direction. And they saw fit bringing in Andrzejek from Florida, especially having that. So yeah, Noah, you got to be excited about that and definitely have a soft spot for Campbell for sure, like you mentioned. And I do too. I like watching them. I like their style of play, and they've been really tough and physical this year. So maybe that difference of run and gun will come in, but they definitely have the talent to do that as well and play both sides of the ball. I'm not too worried about. So yeah, Campbell will be up there, definitely in the top 6 for me in the CAA.
I think it's also worth noting for Andrzejek, this isn't a complete rebuild job. I mean, Kevin McGeehan last year was 10-8 and finished 5th in the CAA. So it's not like he's taken over a program that's been in the gutter. And in the last 2 years, or they're 2 years in the CAA since transferring over from the Big South, they're 18-18. So they've been a 500 program. I think year one, they're probably right around 500, maybe slightly above. I probably will have them cracking the top half, or just right there in the middle of the pack. So yeah, I like this team. I think they're headed in the right direction. Year one under Andrzejek. All right, team number 2, the team with the most resources. Even though I think the gap may be slowly shrinking because other programs have invested recently. That is Chris Mack coming over, replacing his really good friend in Pat Kelsey, who took Louisville, ironically, where Chris Mack was at previously. 24-9, 13-5 in CAA play, good enough for a third-place finish. Mack was really good at Xavier for those years, multiple Sweet 16s, got to an Elite 8. Louisville actually thought he did a pretty good job, all things considered. He had one bad year, and then they canned him. But his best team was the COVID year. They were 15-5 that year in the ACC. Noah, they'll always be good because they have a lot of resources and they recruit at a high level, and Mack is a proven winner.
Correct. For sure. They were top 3 offense in this conference last year. The defenses under Mack have been hit or miss. Last year, they were kind of middle of the pack, top half in the CAA, and that was, a good part of the reason why they didn't win the league or win the conference tournament. They hit the portal very hard again. A lot of money to spend, like you mentioned. They do have some returners. Jackson Prunty played 22 minutes a game, and George A. Churchich and Joey Scarpitti. But I think, again, this is another team that your starting 5 is mainly going to be made up of transfers. And, you've got Christian Reeves, a 7'2" redshirt junior coming in from Clemson to be that rim protector for Charleston that, they had it was Ante Berzovic last year kind of playing their 5, but he was more of like your Euro big man who was able to, kind of finesse some guys in the post. And I think that Reeves might be a better defensive option, but there's no way he's matching the offensive production. You're looking for that from your wings and your backcourt. I mean, you look at Bryce Baker, 6'5" senior guard, comes in from Winthrop. He hit 39% of his threes on 5 attempts per game. And then Colby Duggan, 6'7" junior forward, in conference transfer from Campbell, shot the 3 ball 34% on 5 attempts per game. Jalen Counter, Middle Tennessee transfer. He's a 6'3" graduate senior, probably going to man the point this year. Averaged 3.5 assists last year, 10.5 points, 4 boards. Shot the 3 ball 30.5% on 4 attempts per game. That's kind of your identity of this team. Mr. Dean probably, is going to have a good role on this team as well. He's a USC upstate transfer, a 6'6" sophomore this year. Last year, his freshman year, played 23.5 minutes, averaged 15.5 points, 5.5 boards. He was a big loss for the Spartans. And then Kendall Taylor is another guy that may get some run from D2 Wingate, averaged 24.5 points per game, 8 boards, 4.5 assists, over a steal and a half per game, shot the 3, 37%. Again, Charleston, very efficient offense last year. I see a lot of very good offensive pieces here that will have them probably in that top 3 or 4. Huffer, what are your thoughts on Charleston this season?
Yeah, tough to not like Charleston, considering the resources like mentioned. But I think we actually, on top of their offense, might see a more defensive team under Mack and kind of actually focus on that other side of the ball and like Kelsey's systems. They still are capable of putting up 100 points regardless and having a master duel like that Florida Atlantic game. Was that last year? I can't remember, but that was one of the better games I ever watched. I'm very high on this team. Mack, proven winner, has won in multiple conferences, and they definitely have the talent like you mentioned. I'm excited for Jackson Prunty coming back for Charleston. He took an injury red shirt last year, so I think that they have all pieces, and the fact of the matter is it's not one guy that's going to be doing some isolation game. They have tons of pieces where they can spread the floor in that motion style offense. So offensively, I think they actually have some defensive improvement, even with the loss of their pieces and returning starters, or with 0 returning starters. But Yeah, I'm super high on this team always, and they're going to definitely compete and win games for sure. But they may have a couple letdown spots like they did last year against Monmouth and a couple other teams.
Yeah, so they don't return a lot. They are one of the younger rosters in this league for the most part. But like, I like the overall talent of this roster, bringing in multiple guys that average 15 plus points per game at their previous stops. I thought, to your guys' point, Mack tried to mix and match the Kelsey era with his own identity because his teams were good defensively at Xavier and at Louisville. So I thought he walked into a situation with the big that wasn't as good defensively but more skilled, and I thought he tried to play more towards Kelsey because Kelsey was so successful. And I thought that they took a step back defensively, but I think the identity will be more among Chris Mack's teams here this year in year 2, and I got him in the top 3 again.
Yeah,
I love that.
I mean, he had 6 top 30 offenses in 10 plus years in mid or high major college basketball. You knew the offense was going to come over, but yeah, like you mentioned, their tempo last year was through the roof, and it was much faster than a lot of other MAC teams. So he kind of had some continuity and kept it, and that was a good strategy to have as well. And then this year, this is really just a Chris Mack team. There's just 2 or 3 returners total.
Agree. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to pass up 24 wins if I can mix into Kelsey style. I mean, that would just be idiotic. So, yeah, Mac did a good job year 1. Now we'll get to see what his program at Charleston looks like. Team number 3, the Drexel Dragons here. Zach Spiker and company did a good job at Army. He is a Morgantown native. So, obviously, I like Zach Spiker, and he did a good job at West Point for the 7 years that he was there. He had him in the top 4, top 5 pretty much every single year outside of 1 year, which is a tough job. Comes over to Drexel, got them to the NCAA tournament. Hard to believe it's already, year number 10 now. But, yeah, I mean, last year took a step back, but we saw it. I mean, the big goes over to Kentucky last year. They lost a ton off that team that won 20 games in 23-24 and were 13-5, finished second. Spiker has finished in the top 6 4 out of the last 5 years. Noah, do the Dragons find a way to stay competitive once again in this league?
I think they do because, I mean, first off, they lose 4 starters from last year, but they only bring in 4 guys from the portal. Like, they bring back a lot of their rotational or, role players from last season, outside of Shane Blakeney, who got 24 and a half minutes of burn last season. He was probably, their one starter returning for this season. Shot 34% from 3, averaged 7.5 points, 3.5 boards, 1.5 assists per game last year. But like I mentioned, they don't add a ton to this team, so you're banking on your development within the program, and Spiker's proven year over year to be able to outperform some expectation with Drexel. It is a younger roster in this league compared to others, but like I said, years in this program should help these guys coming in. Kavan Vanderhorst is a guy that they're relatively excited about, but last year he only had 10 minutes of burn per game. Victor Panov is a 6'7" senior forward who averaged 6 and 4 in 22 minutes. And then Garfield Turner is a 6'8" graduate senior, played 16 minutes a game, averaged 5 and 4.5, shot at 59.5% from the floor in limited attempts. You've got William Garcia Adston, 6'8" junior forward who played 14.5 minutes a game last year. Horace Simmons, a 6'6" redshirt senior or redshirt sophomore, who only played 6 minutes a game. Josh Reed, a 6'2" sophomore guard who only played 7 minutes a game. Ralph Akuda, Clem Odom Wanyan, only played less than 5 minutes a game, both of them. So some guys are going to have to step up here. And then they're really high on Eli Beard, the D3 transfer from Mary Hardin Baylor, very good D3 program. He's going to come in. I think they want him to be the starting point guard here. Averaged 3 assists last year, 22 points, 4 boards a game, shot 40% from 3 on 7 attempts per game. I'm not quite sure if he could be the point guard the entire year, but I know the 3-point shooting is what translates best throughout all levels, throughout different conferences in D1, whether you're taking a step up, step down. 3-point percentage is relatively translatable, and hitting 40% out of this 40% clip on 7 attempts per game is pretty damn good. And I think that he's going to be one of their best pieces on this offense. And Spiker's defenses are usually pretty good as well. So I've got Drexel kind of in the top half, kind of more middle-ish, but Huffer, you relatively high on the Dragons this year, or where do you have Spiker and the crew finishing, or what's your outlook here?
No, I'm actually not too high on Drexel this year. I think that they're always competitive because the style of play that they have, it's super smash mouth. I like Spiker. Definitely has worked with what he's got talent wise and funding wise compared to other teams in this conference. But he knows how to win. He's going to get big. He's going to go down low. He's going to get rebounds, second chance opportunities, and make sure that you earn your points. And I think that that's a proven philosophy in the CAA, but also in college basketball to get you a little bit to that hurdle, but maybe not over the hump, I guess. And that's where we see like those 500 records. I mean, 20-12 last year, they definitely had more talent. So they're not going to be focused on shooting. It's going to be low scoring games for Drexel always, outside of a couple anomalies. But yeah, I like the talent that they have. I love their front court, one of the better front courts in this conference, height wise, and definitely bringing in some size and pieces. So, but I just don't know if that talent-wise they match up with other teams, but they're definitely going to be capable of winning games with that philosophy under Spiker, like I mentioned, in that style of play, just to making you earn it. So
yeah, 4 straight top 3 defenses in the league. I don't know if
Yep.
you said that, but yeah, Drexel just really salty defensively.
And no, you mentioned it with Spiker getting more out of less. That comes from coaching Army. And finding a way to keep Army in the middle of the Patriot League year in and year out. So, yeah, I mean, he's had 4 straight non-losing CAA years. Last year he was 500, but the years before that, 3 straight winning records in the CAA. And then the year before that, they made the magical run to the NCAA tournament in the bubble. So, I think the best way to describe Spiker is you get a high floor. He'll find ways. They'll grind out games on the defensive end. And, yeah, I will have Drexel, despite losing a lot of production off last year, still finding a way to get to the middle of the pack. So, Philly tough. Next up, well, we're going to talk MyBookie. MyBookie.ag is the place to bet on football and basketball. Prop builder, second to none. Their motto is bet on anything, anywhere, anytime. Easy deposit and lightning fast payouts using crypto. So head over to mybookie.ag. Use our promo code TCESGPN for a 100% bet back bonus up to $500 for new customers. That's MyBookie, promo code TCESGPN. And we're also brought to you by Novig. Novig is America's #1 sports prediction market. Get the best prices over there at Novig. It's available in 35 plus states. Download the Novig app and get $50 off when you spend $5 if you use our promo code SGPN. Get in on the action. Novig, promo code SGPN. Next up on the dock, we got Billy Taylor over at Elon, friend of the program. We had Billy Taylor on our coaches carousel last year. Billy Taylor did a nice job in year number 3. They jump up. Steady progression here at Elon. 8 wins year 1, then 13, now up to 17, a winning record. They were middle of the pack last year, got to the CBI. He experienced at Lehigh and Ball State and Belmont Abbey at the Division II level. He's a Fran McCaffrey guy, Noah. What do you think here, year 4 with Billy Taylor?
Yeah, Fran McCaffrey guy and also a Notre Dame alum.
Yes.
Knocked off the Fighting Irish last year in the non-conference.
That was awesome.
What?
That was awesome that he beat his alma mater.
Yeah,
So
non-conference last year was so good. Like, I think they lost just 3 games, and one of them was 1 point to Gardner Webb. They competed against North Carolina for the first 30 minutes of that game. The Phoenix looked like a potential player in the CAA, and then just injuries kind of caught up to this team last year, and they had lost I think it was like 8 of their last 10 games, unfortunately, because of that. But it was kind of a breakthrough year for Taylor at Elon. and then he loses all 5 starters. So that's just the dark side of mid-major college basketball. He returns 4 guys from that team last year. Isaac Harrell played 21 minutes a game. He's a 6'8" junior wing who shot 39.5% from 3 on 2 attempts per game. And then Trey O'Neal, Ned Hull, and Austin Williams were all kind of deep on the bench last year. Coming in for Billy Taylor, last year they had a top 5 offense for the first time in his tenure. Other than that, they are kind of like bottom tier in both offense and defensive rating on KenPom. So that's kind of the identity, I would say. They're looking to address the 3-point shooting this year. You have quite a few guys that can shoot it from deep or shoot it often. We'll see how well their possessions or their percentages do this year. You've got Randall Pettis the second, who took 4 threes a game at Northern Kentucky, but only at a 28% clip. He played 20 minutes a game for the Norse last year. Kasper Klacek, Albany transfer, comes in. He's a graduate senior, 6'8" forward, played 29 minutes a game last year, averaged 8.5 and 5.5. Shot 30.5% from 3 on 3.5 attempts per game as a stretch 4 there. And then even Chandler Cuthrell, a 6'8" grad forward as well, can shoot your 3 ball. He'll step out, give you some spacing. This is going to be somewhat of a 4 or 5 out approach for this offense this year. He comes in from Purdue Fort Wayne, took 2 threes a game last year, not at a great percentage, but he played 20.5 minutes, averaged 7.5 and 6. Again, another team that's relying on a D2, D3, NAI, JUCO point guard, Jajuan Carr from D2 North Carolina Pembroke. He averaged 13 points per game, 4 boards, 3 assists, over a steal per game, and shot 55% from the floor, 45.5% from 3 on 3 attempts per game. We'll see how well that translates, but I've got a feeling that he's going to be a pretty key cog to this team because he was an efficient scorer last year at the D2 level, and there's not really much efficient scoring outside of him on this year's team. You got a down transfer from George Mason and Bryson Coakley, who barely played last year his freshman year. Caleb Middleton provides a little bit of depth in the front court, played 11.5 minutes a game his freshman year at New Hampshire. He's a 6'11" forward. Bryson Spell, a 6'9" grad senior forward from Liberty, barely saw the floor for the Flames last year, and that's kind of your team here at Elon. I think it's definitely a step back just of how they performed last year. But like I said, they lost 8 of the last 10 games and kind of finished in the bottom half of the standings. I don't know if they're going to finish any worse than they did, but definitely I just don't think it's going to be as good of an offense as they had last year.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. I think transitioning to more of a 3-point after you're playing that old style ball of focusing on the middle and the box, 2 easy 2-pointers, and shooting down low. Kind of Taylor's philosophy, so it'll be interesting kind of seeing that switch with the pieces. But I think it's a step back. They overperformed definitely and made on that run. Talent-wise could be an issue under Taylor, but I respect him as a coach. I think that he's definitely going to be competitive, and they're always going to be focused. But talent-wise, losing all their major pieces that drove a lot of this offense, it's going to be some continuity issues to start off the season. So maybe that it's a difference like than last year, kind of where they started off hot and then kind of tapered off. But I mean, definitely love Taylor, like what he brings, but I think Elon's going to have a step back year where they need to rebuild and focus on the next couple of years of hopefully retaining some of this talent that they brought in.
Noah, how does Torvik rank Elon like one of the most returning minutes out there?
It's a great question. I think that was one of the ones that were messed up this season.
Yeah,
is he messed up?
Shout out Torvik for all the stuff he puts out, but I think he's a little off on this one. I think they will take a slight step back. I think they're in between year 2 and year 3. I don't think or maybe closer to year 2. Maybe a slight step back here for Billy Taylor, but I think he's got a program in place, a system in place. They play together. He's a Fran McCaffrey guy. And McCaffrey, I know it didn't end well. McCaffrey always found a way for the most part to get more out of less and overachieve expectations when some of his teams had a lot of roster turnover. So give me Billy Taylor to find a way to stay somewhat near the middle, probably towards a little bit of the back end. But, I don't think the bottom's going to fall for the Phoenix. All right, let's go over to these Hampton Pirates. Ivan Thomas, a good year number one here, 17-16 winning record, 8-10 in league play. That is a huge jump up for where Hampton was the year before when he took over. And Ed Cooley guy here, also TC Williams, so shout out to those Titans. Thomas had been with Ed Cooley since his Providence days. He played at VCU. He's from the 757. This was a home run hire right from the get-go. So, yeah, I like the trajectory of this program, Noah.
Yeah, you have to. Even though they lose 4 starters, just such a good coaching job last year, and they didn't have a whole lot returning. It was mainly a portal team. The bed and breakfast, as we like to call them, or the Hampton Inn. They returned 1 starter, Xavier Long, a 6'7" senior forward, averaged 6.5 and 5 last year, shot 37% from 3 on limited attempts, 47% from the floor. And I think they did really good job replacing some of the talent and scouting pretty well at some mid majors that have been pretty good programs in the recent history here. Let's start with Jelike Gaines Wyatt. There's no way I drilled the first name, but he comes in from Alcorn State, who was one of their more important guards last year. Alcorn State's been a pretty good program in these last few years. He's a 6-foot junior guard, played 28.5 minutes a game last year, averaged 11.5 points, shot 34.5% from 3 on 3 attempts per game with 3 assists per game. Christian Watson is a Southern Miss transfer. He's a 6'6" senior wing who played 28.5 minutes, averaged 8 and 4 with over 2 assists per game. He shot 3.5 threes a game last year, but at a 23% clip. So we'll see if that improves for him. And then they bring in a 7-footer from Tennessee State that only played 14.5 minutes, Josh Ungwandele. But he was pretty efficient on the floor offensively, 65% from the floor, averaged 7 and 4, with a little bit more runway and possibly this team's starting 5. I think this is a really big piece for Hampton here, along with Michael Ale, who didn't really touch the floor last season with Tulane. He's a 6'4" senior guard that has some ability defensively to really kind of get in the people's shit. I like kind of this team's defensive outlook 1000%. And I trust that this program's headed in the right direction. You've got Cody Williams off the bench to add a little offensive pop. He shot the 3-ball 37.5% on 3.5 attempts per game with Hawaii last year. And then Peter Oduro comes in from Coppin State, who played 27 minutes a game. He's a 6'8" senior forward. Other returners, Etienne Struthers played 18 minutes. Daniel Johnson played 18 minutes. Elijah Kennedy played 6 minutes. And Enrique Rink played 7.5 minutes. We'll see kind of how they fit into the equation here. Again, they've got some returners, but I don't necessarily think that they're going to play the bulk of this team's minutes like we've talked about a couple other teams in the CAA. But I really like this portal class. I like the defensive outlook for this team, and I think there's some pieces that have some intrigue offensively, but again, this is more of a middle of the pack team for me with Hampton. I think they kind of win the same amount of games, that 8-ish range in the CAA this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's no fluke from last season. I don't think. I mean, Hampton shining hard. Their first season in the CAA, they had some beginner's luck, had a winning record. Now they do that for the first time since joining from the MEAC. I love this team. Talent-wise, they're good. They have shooters on all sides and all positions. They kind of play that positionless style basketball under Thomas, and I think he's a great coach. And it wasn't a fluke last year being 17-16, and that is a good season for Hampton. I mean, Hampton was perennial losers in this conference, and so I think that's a step in the right direction. They're going to continue doing that. They're going to have a lot of depth this year as well, so they can focus on that positionless basketball, where they have a lot of players to go to, maybe some platoon style offense, and also a focus of playing physical. that's always important in March. I love depth. It may not matter at first, but it does matter eventually, especially come later in the season. And the pieces that you mentioned, Noah, are fantastic. And talent-wise, Hampton is no joke, and they're finally out of the cellar in this conference, I would have to say.
That they are. He's a program builder just like Ed Cooley. And you saw it in year one, their first winning season since 2019. They have an identity at Hampton, and I think that's the main thing, and that's why I like this team to stay in the middle of the pack here. I don't think they're good enough to contend with these top-tier teams yet, maybe year three, but Thomas doing a hell of a job, and the arrow is definitely pointed up at Hampton.
We got an answer in the chat too about the Torvik thing with Elon. He's got TJ and TK Simpkins on the team still.
Okay, well that makes sense. I was like, how
they don't update those sometimes. Sometimes even Ken Palm, it takes a bit. I know that too, like updating the rosters. I know that we ran into that last year, but they're always great. They have so much information. I get it.
Well, Ken Palm doesn't even show the rosters in the preseason or like
right.
That's an actual game.
Right.
Let's talk Speedy Claxton, man. Year 5. All right, so the bottom finally fell out a little bit last year. He has his first losing season there. Yeah. He had 3 straight 20-plus win seasons. He won the regular season 3 years ago. I think he got knocked off by Wilmington in the semifinals. Had another pair of top 3 finishes. So a little bit of a setback for the pride last year of Hofstra. But, I mean, Speedy Claxton's proven that he's doing a hell of a job there at his alma mater. So, do we get a boomerang bounce back here, Noah?
I mean, I think it's a very low bar to clear because he's been there for 4 years, and he's had a top 2 defense in all 4 years. Yep. Last year, it was just the second worst offense in the league. So
he lost a lot in the portal, too.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't think it's a very high bar to clear. Just be better than inept, and you're going to be a top half team and competing in the CAA this year. I don't know if they're necessarily in that top 3, that Wilmington, Charleston, Towson bunch, but I think Hofstra, like in recent years, has been like right there with those other 3. They returned 2 starters from last year. Cruz Davis is the most important piece, the point guard from last year, 6'3" senior this year. He played 35 minutes last year, 14.5 points, 4 boards, 4.5 assists, over a steal and a half per game, shot 39% from 3 on 49, or 4.6 attempts a game. And then Herman Plotnikov comes back as well, a 6'5" graduate wing, played 25 minutes a game last year, shot 40% from 3 on 3 attempts per game. Silas Sunday, the 7-footer, is back after playing 13.5 minutes his junior year last year, averaged 3.5 and 4, shot 61.5% from the floor in limited attempts. Carlos Lopez is back after playing 27 minutes with St. Francis in 2023-24. Last year, he redshirted due to injury. You've got Joshua Decady, played 9.5 minutes his freshman year here with Hofstra. And then I like the Wyoming getting AJ Wills. He's a 6-foot junior guard, 18.5 minutes a game last year. He shot 43% from 3 on 2 attempts in limited time. With a little bit more run, I think this guy might be a really good offensive piece for Hofstra that desperately needs some offense, like I talked about. And the other guy's Josh Reeves, a 6'3" grad guard. Barely played for UIC, but he's also a dead eye. He shot 41.5% from 3. You got Biggie Patterson comes in from Iona. He's kind of your stretch 4. Last year, averaged 9.5 and 6 for Tobin Anderson's squad. He's a 6'7" senior for this upcoming season. You got Trey Boyd III, a D2 transfer from Pace, who's also a pretty good shooter, 37% from 3 on 6.5 attempts per game. Western Carolina transfer and Brandon Morgan, who played 23 minutes a game last year. He's a good defensive piece, kind of a good ball handler to have on the bench as well. Hofstra, I think they've gotten better on offense. The defense, you can count on being there with Speedy Claxton. I have Hofstra as a top 5 team this year in the CAA.
Yeah, I like Hofstra. I'd have to agree with you. I do think that I am worried about their talent. I mean, sometimes after success, there's always a fall, and there was a fall from grace with Speedy Claxton. So I think they're still going to be climbing uphill more than we think. But lack of funding. They're definitely going to be good defensively, similar to a Drexel team, like I mentioned with that analysis. But where they're going to maybe struggle is rebounding, I think, versus some of these teams. So I'm curious to see. They're definitely my wild card, but I'm not as high on Hofstra this year, unfortunately. But I love Speedy Claxton, always have. So I always draft him in my NBA like franchises fantasy drafts back in the day on NBA Live. So.
Yeah, I'm going to bank on Speedy Claxton, a bounce back. They have an identity in this program defensively. I think they get back after it here. I know that they are replacing a good amount, but I mean, so is everybody in this league for the most part. So, yeah, Speedy Claxton, rare down year. I'll take the boomerang. I think they get back to around that 20 win mark, maybe even a little bit more, and crack the top 5 here in the CAA once again. All right, real quick before we move over to our next team, let's shout out our sponsor, and that is Underdog Fantasy. Underdog has a great place to play fantasy pick'em where you can win up to 500 times your entry. Simply pick higher, lower on your favorite player stats, available in a ton of different sports. Underdog's got a brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5. And you can get 100 in bonus funds. Sign up with our promo code TCESGPN. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm to crush it in college football and NFL with picks and props. Rhythm is also giving away weekly cash prizes. Just track your bets in the app. Track 5 bets on the same type of model over there to win $1,000. Use our promo code SGPN25 when you download the Rhythm app for a 25% off your first month. Download the Rhythm app and use our promo code SGPN25. We continue on the journey. We're halfway through. Next up, we got King Rice and the Monmouth Hawks here. King Rice has been at Monmouth since 2011, 220 and 228. But that's misleading. In conference games, he's 145 and 119. They always play a juggernaut of a non-con. They play a who's who. That one year where they were special, they beat like UCLA, they beat USC. Who else did they beat? They beat all these teams and Notre Dame, and they won like 5 bye games. It was crazy.
And they still got left out of the tournament.
Yeah, it was 2016. They went 28-8, and they lost to Iona, I think, with Tim Cluse and company, or it might have been Mazziello's Manhattan teams. But anyway, they've done a nice job transitioning from the MAAC over to the CAA. They took their growing pains year one, finished 12th, 5-13. But hey, look at this, back-to-back years of 10-8 and 10-8, top 6 finishes. Like I said, that 13-20 is misleading because they had a winning record last year in conference play. To put in perspective, they played at Rutgers, at Wichita, at Seton Hall. They actually won that game. At Sparty, at Temple, at Princeton, at Auburn. So you can wonder why they might have been 3-10 headed into league play. And then they were battle tested once again. King Rice always gets the most out of his teams. Good coach. Noah, how do our Hawks look in year 15 now of the King Rice era?
Yeah, to your point, like these recent 2 years, he's kind of gotten the most out of his team to finish right in the kind of middle of the pack, both offensively, defensively rated in in the CAA. Just barely in the top half there, like 7th or 8th in rating in both seasons that he's had 10-8 years. And this year he's got a lot of continuity, and you gotta like that with Monmouth. And this is kind of your recipe for success under King Rice. There's a couple of 17 or 18 win years in this Hawks program recently, and this was kind of the ingredients for it. You got a Jack Collins who played 36 minutes a game last year, shot 5 threes a game at 31.5% clip, and then he's your returning starter along with Cornelius Robinson, a 6'7" junior forward, played 23.5 minutes a game last year, averaged 8 and 5.5, shot 54% from the floor. You got a 7-footer coming back who's a senior, Dalk Mordar, who is a 7'1" senior, 15 minutes a game last year. And then Andrew Ball, Justin Ray, Lucas Orchard, Corey Miller, Quinn Peters, Jack Leahy, all role players, but they're all back in this program as well. 3 newcomers from the portal, Kavion McLean's the big one. Comes in from Texas Southern, ran the show there. He's a 5'10" senior little point guard, but does a little bit of everything. He's nasty on defense. He can dish the ball out. He can hit some shots from deep, 38% last year on 5.5 attempts. Averaged 14 points per game, 4.5 assists, just under 2 steals a game, 3 boards. Like literally checks almost every box you could want out of a point guard. Jason Rivera Torres comes in from San Francisco. He didn't get a lot of burn there, but those San Francisco teams, they're kind of your 3-and-D type, and he can shoot, and he's big. He's got some length on the wing there, and I think he might be a good defensive piece for this team. And then Jinup Dubois from Portland. He barely played last year for the Pilots too in his freshman year, but this is like a Euro 3-point shooter as well. So the thing with Monmouth is they tend to kind of be hit or miss offensively with King Rice, but the defense has always been great. And yeah, I think the Hawks are a top half team this year, and I really like the Kavion McLean get. Pair him up with Jack Collins, who returns in that backcourt. I think that's a really good 1-2, and you've got some returning production in the front court to like as well. Monmouth, I think, is going to be a little dangerous in the non-con and in the CAA this year.
Yeah, I love Monmouth. Cannot be high on them. I mean, King Rice, great coach, and now he's finally gelling in this conference, getting familiar. There's always an important thing. He knows the systems that some of these coaches have, and he's a great coach. And they're always going to play tough non-conference. I think that always prepares them, and that's what we saw last year. They're going to have a beast at the front court, going to be rebounding machines, and also have some shooters as well too this season under Rice yet again. So Monmouth, they can get streaky, but most of the times it's getting hot. It's not necessarily being streaky, but they get consistent and with that live and die by mentality with shooting sometimes. So I like their scoring. They're going to be continuing that yet again for Monmouth. And I think it's going to be another middle of the road year for them in the conference around that 500 record, but maybe above it as well, just with overperforming and getting some upsets like they did last year with Charleston. And I'm blanking on the other one, but yeah, go Monmouth in the CAA and King Rice.
I have no reason to drop them outside of the top half.
Correct.
From what I've seen with King Rice getting the most out of what he's had the last couple of years. Hell, I might even be able to make a case for them being in the top 4 here, Noah, with as much as they got coming back off of last year. So I like Monmouth and I like King Rice. It's an older team once again, and I like a couple of additions in the portal. Kid from Texas Southern, McLean. I think that's a nice get at the point guard position. So yeah, sign me up for another top 5-ish finish for King Rice and Company. They got an identity in this program. They're tough, man. They embody a Jersey team.
Yeah.
Next up here, this guy's got his work cut out for him. Monte Ross did a great job at Delaware. He took them to their first ever NCAA tournament team or NCAA tournament appearance in 2014. Built that program up. He is a Philly guy through and through. We had him on the carousel last year, and he knew what he was walking into. This is going to be a complete rebuild job at A&T because they were a complete dumpster fire when he got there. So back-to-back disappointing 7-25 years. Noah, what's year 3 look like? Because that's when they took a little bit of a step at Delaware back in the day.
I'd still kind of label this one as kind of a dumpster fire right now when you've got guys that are actively gambling against their team or working with a gambling ring or operation against their team, right?
Yep.
So kind of losing the locker room last year is not a great start because he was kind of excited about that team. I remember the media day and also your interview with him, and he was like, yeah, we got some guys that are returning that were all hurt last year and we're ready to run it back this year. And yeah, they kind of got buried in efficiency in both offense and defense, and who knows what in the world was going on in that locker room last year. They do return some important pieces from that team, hopefully the right ones. I trust Ross to be able to have determined that. Bryson Ogletree played 31.5 minutes a game last year in the backcourt. He's a 6'4" junior guard, averaged 7.5 and 3.5. Shot the three ball 31.5% on 3.5 attempts per game. And then Ushena Kelman Nichols, a 6'5" junior wing, played 25.5 minutes a game last year, averaged 5 points per game. He took 4 threes a game at 27% clip, so we'll see how that may play itself out this year. Efstratios Kalianetsis,
Nice.
didn't drill that at all, but 6'11" redshirt sophomore, last year's first year of college basketball, played 20 minutes a game, shot 56.5% from the floor. I think he's a really good piece. You've got Will Felton, who played 14 minutes a game last year, and Chandler Montgomery also deep on that bench, coming back for another season with the Aggies. Trent Middleton comes in from Delaware to play like a one of the bigger portions of this backcourt, maybe even the point guard. In 17.5 minutes a game last year with the Blue Hens, he averaged 1.5 assists per game. D2 transfer from Mount Olive, Lurion Walker. He comes in, shot 33.5% from three, 50.5% from the floor, averaged 17.5 points per game last year. Lewis Walker comes in from UMass. He redshirted last year. Amadou Doumbia, also a UMass transfer. He's a 6'11" big man, played only 4 minutes his freshman year there. KJ Debrick from Cleveland State, a fifth-year senior who's kind of just been a bench guy in his career. Zamoku Welashe Ume from George Washington, again, guy that didn't really see the floor a ton. And then 2 JUCO transfers, Mujahid Burton, who averaged 12 and 3.5 at Wabash Valley Junior College last year. And then Northwest Florida State's Dwayne Pierce, a 6'5" junior or 6'5" sophomore last year's freshman year. He averaged 12, 3.5, and 2. NCA&T, they're like the show it to me, prove it to me before I buy into you team in this conference. I've got them last in my preseason rankings to not hold anything back here. And I don't know. They just lack a little pop offensively. I like the Euro 5. He had a great year his freshman year in limited time. We'll see what he can do, but that's about as positive as I can be on NCAA&T right now.
Yeah, I'll try to take a stab at it. If Strasios Kalinosius, I have no idea, but he got thrown into that role for all the stuff that we've mentioned, bad things for NCAA&T. So, I don't know. I can't be high on this team. I'm sorry. With what's going on in the background, they had some random covers of recent year and can be feisty at times, at least, maybe in the first half. But I think just even with the talent that you bring in, a couple of talent with returning pieces, it is good that you have some young pieces returning. Maybe you can retain them to curate them to be year 3, year 4, but I don't know. With what's looming in the background for NCAA&T, I can't be too high on them in this conference with everyone focused on winning while this team may be focused on some other things as well. So yeah, bottom of the barrel bottom of the conference, and bottom of the barrel for in the CAA.
Yeah, it's hard to make a case for him. Ross is a veteran coach. Like you said, he did a good job at Delaware getting them into the NCAA tournament, but too many distractions for me to get bought in. They are the youngest team in this league as well, and they have a ton of roster turnover. So they will be at the basement for me, but hoping I'm wrong, man. Hoping I'm wrong. Let's get over to Northeastern, baby. You know I like me some Northeastern Huskies. Bill Coen headed into year number 20 now, 299 and 299, 178 and 154 in league play. They have actually been in the CAA the entire time he's been there. I thought they transitioned from the Northeast, but I guess not. He has won the regular season 6 or 5 different times. He's won the tournament 2 different times, been in an NCAA tournament twice, obviously. A veteran in this industry. The only thing I worry about is they have not been the same program since the portal era. They were kind of like Bellarmine. They are a developmental program where they get their players in, they have a young group, they grow, they come back. Next year or the next 2 years, they're really, really good. They've lost some guys in the portal. Coen, at the age of now 64, I'm not saying the game's passed him by, but this new era does not benefit the way he ran his program forever.
I will say, Mac, I am cautiously buying in on the Huskies this year.
Yeah.
Because they do return some production. They lose 4 starters. They only return 1 starter, and that's L.A. Pratt, 6'5" senior forward, played 31 minutes a game last year, averaged 11, 3.5, 2.5. Really good defensive piece there, too. He stepped out and shot a lot of threes last year, not at a great clip, but the 2 other wings on this team, I think, are really good. They were role players last year. Both of them shot 39% from 3. J.B. Frankel and William Kermori, both of them love the 3 ball. Both of them were really good in limited time last year with more runway to play this season. I really like those 2 pieces. You handpick a portal guard in Mike Lonane from Davidson. He averaged 2.5 assists and 23.5 minutes a game last year. He also can shoot the 3 ball, 37.5% on 3 attempts per game with the Wildcats last year. And then they go out and grab a Miami big man. Xander Alari didn't see the floor at all in his freshman year with the Hurricanes. He redshirts, and he comes in the Northeastern. And I think this is an interesting grab for the Huskies, along with Harris Elezevich, a 6'8" grad senior from West Virginia. Just a couple of gambles of guys that really didn't see the floor a whole lot in that front court. And all of a sudden, you've got some shooters surrounding front court gambles. And then also Yuri Fritz returns. He's a 6'9" senior, played 16.5 minutes a game in this system last year. Shot 60% from the floor in those 16.5 minutes. Like, I'm bought in. It's just they lack depth, man. And that kind of hurts. It's young, inexperienced. Like, you've got your top 5, and then just the inexperience and youth is just so evident with this team. I've got them smack dab in the middle. Like, I want to be high on this group, but they're just one of those teams with one injury, and it might just spell disaster for the team for the year. So cautiously optimistic on Northeastern this season. Huffer, how about you?
Yeah, I like those 2 words to describe that in their season, but they were unhealthy the last few years, so that it was kind of their point and downfall. But they're always competitive, especially if they're hot. They're hot. I mean, they can shoot the ball and they can get in a groove, but they're going to try to slow you down as well. And they bring back, like you mentioned, the experiences in the backcourt with the lack of experience in that front court down low. But point guards can lead the floor, let the guards lead the floor, and then make that magic happen. So I think that size wise it's okay, but lack of experience down low, and then having tons of backcourt, they're going to rely on them for shooting. But yeah, depth is kind of an issue compared to other conference or other teams in the conference. But Coen's a great leader, and I think that their play on the perimeter is always can be volatile, but for the most part under Coen's system it works, and I like watching Northeastern personally. So yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic as well. And the way that he plays, I think they're always going to be flirting with that 500 record in the CAA.
Break it through this year. Top half.
Yeah,
top half. You know, I was going to buy back into Bill Coen.
I like jumping on the boat, man.
He's a grinder, man. He's a grinder. He's an old savvy vet, man. And to your guys' point, they have had a lot of bad luck in this program. They've had some injuries over the last couple of years. I think they get some positive luck this year, even though they are a little bit thin. But I like their guard play, and I like Coen. I don't know how many more cracks at this he's got, being a veteran coach. So sign me up for a top half finish for Northeastern. That didn't take much twisting. I see the chat is fired up to talk Stony Brook Seawolves, baby.
We've got the chat wanting you to live call your buddy here, Geno Ford.
Let's go. I love Geno Ford. I love Geno Ford. So last year was a setback year, but I mean, the year before that, they made it all the way to the conference championship game.
It's a seesaw program.
It's a seesaw, yeah. I mean, it's tough to win at Stony Brook since they've transitioned over to the CAA. So they were rolling in the America East, whether it was Jeff Bowles and Geno Ford, who in his couple years there had a second place and third place finish. To your point, Noah, every other year has been a basically 20-win season with Geno Ford. Geno Ford, reminder, is the one that got Kent State rolling as well, where they started being a contender in the MAC year after year. So what do you think here? Do we see Saul back to a 20-win season here with Geno Ford and company?
They lose almost everybody from last year, but one really impressive keep is Colin O'Connor. Last year, a freshman point guard, he did, everything and more that you could have asked out of him. Played 33 and a half minutes his first year of college basketball, averaged 8 and 3 assists per game with 2.5 boards. And he comes back and he's going to run the show again. And you have to love that if you're a Stony Brook fan or a Northeast basketball fan or in the CAA looking at all these teams. That's just really promising that you were able to bring a player of that caliber back. And if you're going to bring back one player, only one player, might as well be a guy that can run the show and run the point. The best portal grab here is Rob Brown III. He took 7 threes a game at Nichols last year and hit him at a 35.5% clip. Southland was really good, and this was a really good Nichols team. He played 30 minutes for the Colonels last year. He's a 6'4" grad senior wing. Averaged 13 points, 3.5 boards, just over 1 assist a game last year. I think he's a really nice guard to pair with O'Connor. He's got the experience to kind of, be a really good 1-2 with O'Connor. And then Eric Pratt comes in from Milwaukee, shot 33% from 3 on 4.5 attempts a game, averaged 10.5 points per game, 2 assists, 3.5 boards, and 22.5 minutes. He's going to have a little bit more runway to play with in this backcourt as well, because this is another team that lacks a little bit of depth. It's really kind of an iron 5, and then we'll see. Very similar to Northeastern. They have Oleg Koyenets transferring in from Wyoming to play the 5. He's a 7-footer, played 10 minutes a game for the Pokes last season. And then an in-conference transfer, Richard Goods, last year, his freshman year, he only played 13 minutes for the bed and breakfast. So, Stony Brook, I've got them seesawing back up to maybe 8-ish wins, 9-ish, 10. That's kind of the range that I think the Seawolves could get to this year. Really good backcourt, not a lot of depth. Youth and experience kind of copy pasta with Northeastern a little bit.
Yeah, how can you not like Stony Brook, especially at home? They're really tough, and I think that even with a crappy record, they've been able to win. So, yeah, Seesaw program, love Geno Ford. That record, it's solid. And they've had transition years, and it's been a transition in the CAA. If someone can, I don't know how long it's been now that I'm blanking on it. It's been like
3 years. This will be year 4 in the CAA.
I was going to say, I thought it was like 5 years. So, yeah, so even a little less than that. And maybe this is the year. They went 20-15 last year or 2 years ago, and then they take a step back. They just lacked offense, but they were always competitive. They're going to play defensive kind of smash mouth in your face. Stony Brook's always been that kind of program, and they're always going to be flirty, I think. But if they can be okay offensively and stay healthy, they may be contending with some CAA teams and actually being up in the ranks more than down the ranks in this conference, in my opinion, under Ford.
I will be optimistic on my Seawolves. Veteran coach, I like the guards. That's a good combo. So Geno Ford, I'll bank on him getting this thing fixed, just like he did 2 years ago, where they were 11-22. Then they jump up to 20 wins, get to the CAA championship game, almost beat Charleston. That was a hell of a game. I think it was an overtime game where Pat Kelsey's final run at Charleston. So, yeah, Geno Ford and company, I got him in the middle of the pack. I trust Geno Ford. He's a hugs guy, man. I'm going to be in on my Seawolves.
Ride the bouge. Stony Brook was falsely accused in the gambling college basketball ring or whatever. They were one of the first teams under investigation.
Fake news.
There was, nothing really there about Stony Brook, I don't believe. So, yeah.
I'll tell you a program I will be in on. This will be this program. Pat Skerry this is one of the better rebuild jobs over the last decade. When he took over, they were 1-31 his first year. And since then, they have basically had a winning season every single year. They have the most wins in the state of Maryland among all programs over the last 4 years. 25 wins, 21 wins you see now, 20, 22. They have won 2 regular season titles. The only thing they have not done is win the CAA tournament. They have been knocking on the door. We had Skerry on the show as well. And he's proud. He's proud of this program, what they've been able to build it to be. Always right there to win the league. They just have not been able to knock down that door. Last year was disappointing that they weren't able to do it, going 16-2 in league play and winning that and really going away with that thing. Skerry's a hell of a basketball coach. He's a Jamie Dixon guy. They will contend once again.
Yeah, we've hit like this stretch of teams that have youth and inexperience on the bench. But, I mean, a great place to start is bringing back your 2 best players from last year. Tyler Tejada, a 6'9" junior forward, played 32 minutes a game last year, stuffed the stat sheet in a lot of ways. 16.5 points per game, 4 boards, shot 33% on 5.5 threes. And then Dylan Williamson's back to run the show in the point guard position. Shot 43% from 3 on 6 attempts per game. Played 31 minutes a season ago, 14.5 points per game, 2.5 assists, 2.5 boards. He's going to fill in that 1 spot. You know, Coach Pat Skerry has won double-digit conference games in 4 straight seasons at Towson. In those 4 years with the Tigers, the Skerry's had incredible defenses, all of them rated inside KenPop's top 5 in the CAA, and it's come along with 3 top 3 offenses. And you're going to look for some of these portal grabs to, bring a little bit of an element of offense here, but they're also experienced, all 3 of them. Tyler Schmidt comes in from Valpo. He shot 38% from 3, averaged 10 points per game, 3.5 boards, 1.5 assists per game. And then Jack Dumbia is a Wright State transfer. He shot 53.5% from the floor, averaged 11.5 points per game, 5.5 boards, 2 assists. He's also a 6'4" grad senior guard. And then Morsek from Fresno State. This is a guy I was relatively high on last year for the Bulldogs, and it just didn't really work out. Didn't get a ton of playing time, but he's a 7-footer. He's going to split time with Caleb Mbea, who also returns. He played 16 minutes a season ago as a freshman. And then Adu Sam, a 6'8" senior who played 8 minutes last year. And then there's a lot of freshmen on this bench that will have to, prove themselves. And also 1 or 2 of them is going to have to be relied on for important minutes at some point. So Towson is a really good starting 5. Skerry, one of, if not the best coach in this league. They'll be contending for a title, but I like some other teams' depth a little bit more than the Tigers this year.
I think the Tigers they're going to be just fine competing and contenders yet again. They have the funding. I like Skerry. I think now that he's had some offense too, even with the low tempo and style of play that's going to limit possessions across the board. But they've been able to match those teams that can run up tempo and score in those situations, which I think is all coaching and of course getting the ball in the bucket. But that always comes down to coaching. I like their offense and they're fun to watch, and they're going to also be physical defensively across the perimeter. And I think just both sides of the ball, they're one of the best teams. And as you mentioned in Tejada and I think Williamson or whatever, those 2 guys are going to be competing yet again for Conference Player of the Year. So 2 guys on one team that can do that, and then also some pieces out on the wing or in the corner that can easily shoot, and a couple guys down low. They're going to be just fine. Their depth is a little worrisome, but they do bring in good pieces where I think they're going to get tons of experience. And if they can limit turnovers and score the ball like they did last year, they'll be just fine competing for the top half of the conference and top 3 of the conference. Even with 16 wins last year, I was impressed they had 16. I didn't realize that. I don't know if we'll see that yet again this year, but I do think they're going to be just fine in the top 3.
This is an easy team to buy into. 2 best players back at your point guard. You got your foreman, your utility man, and you got Pat Skerry. They'll have an identity. They'll guard the shit out of you. They'll rebound the ball. He worked for Jamie Dixon for a reason. His teams look like a Jamie Dixon team. Towson, top 3 finish, maybe win the regular season once again. Another guy that can really coach, Takayo Siddle over here at UNC Wilmington. Dude, he has done an unbelievable job. He is a Kevin Keats guy headed into year number 6 now. They break through. He gets to his first NCAA tournament last year. So Towson had not won and has not been able to knock down the door. Wilmington under Siddle had not been able to get knocked down the door. They had finished in the top 3 4 straight years. You guys see it, 27-8, 21-10, 24-10, 27-9. This guy's a really good coach. He was flirting with the VCU job. I thought he would have been a perfect fit, but Wilmington really stepped up their NIL collective here, and they're all in on this on the Seahawks team. So, Noah, take it away on why the Seahawks could win the regular season and get back to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, just branching off of that point, like UNCW is really invested in their athletic department and quite a few sports. So it's very promising to see for the Seahawks and fans in that North Carolina area. Wilmington has had back-to-back top 100 offenses nationally under Coach Takayo Siddle. In the last 4 seasons, Siddle has had the Seahawks a top 3 CAA offense 3 times and a top 5 defense twice. When UNC Wilmington has been able to parlay a good defense with their next level offense, the Seahawks have won a conference title, whether it be a regular season title or a conference tournament title. They've won one of them in those 2 seasons. This year, there's a chance that Wilmington has 6 seniors and 9 upperclassmen in the rotation. UNCW has Torvik's most experienced CAA preseason roster this year. I think the Seahawks are dangerous. They returned 3 guys that played 20-plus minutes a season ago. Greedy Williams is probably going to be their point guard. Last year in 21.5 minutes, he averaged 5.5 points, 3 boards, 2.5 assists. Nolan Hodge returns. He's a 6'7" senior forward. Played 23.5 minutes a game last year, averaged 7.5 and 4. Shot 37% from 3 on 2.5 attempts a game. And then Noah Ross, a 6'7" senior forward, played 24 minutes a game, averaged 8 and 5. He can dish it out a little bit too out of the front court. And then you go out and you grab quite a few interesting portal grabs. Patrick Wessler is a 7-footer from Virginia Tech who only played 10.5 minutes a game a season ago. You get an in-conference transfer from Stony Brook, their best player last year, CJ Luster II. A 6'3" guard who played 30 minutes a game in this conference a season ago, 17 points per game, shot 42% from 3 on 7.5 attempts. Gavin Walsh from Binghamton, he played 32.5 minutes, averaged a double-double in the front court in the America East. Christian May is a 6'5" senior, played 27.5 minutes a game for Towson last year, averaged 7.5 and 4.5, shot 31% from 3 on 4 attempts. You've got Jonathan Lamoth from NCA&T. He was their best player last year, played 36 minutes a game in this conference, averaged 14 and 7.5 with 2.5 assists, 1.5 steals per game in the backcourt. He took 6.5 threes a game at a 29.5% clip, but I don't think he's going to be relied on nearly as much as he was last year with the Aggies to be much of a volume shooter. You've got Madison Durr, who played 32 minutes a game in this conference last year for Monmouth. He averaged 12.5 points per game, 3 assists. This roster has got everything. Quite a few guys that have played big minutes in this conference before in their careers. It's deep, talented. There's shooting. There's really good defense. I think UNC Wilmington is the front runner in the CAA this year.
I was so close to my first half UNCW money line last year against Texas Tech, I think, but then they blew it. But yeah, I was high on them. I'm always high on them. I like Siddle. They secure him, like you mentioned. I always thought he was going to definitely get another job. He's definitely going to be always a winner with the amount of resources that they have. And I love Greedy Williams, fantastic name, and also he's not greedy with the ball. He can dish. and also score. I think he's going to step into a bigger role. And talent-wise, this team's going to have no issue. And I trust Siddle to get these guys going no matter what. You also get two big men, 6'11", from overseas. I don't know what it is about the overseas attraction for big men playing basketball in the CAA, but there's a pipeline there. And I think you're going to see them step into a role yet again, just due to their size. So I'm high on them. Best overall team, I think, and talent-wise, top to bottom is UNC Wilmington in this conference yet again, hoping to get back to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, and they do lose some key pieces off that NCAA tournament team, but they reload with some of these transfers, and then with the combination of some of the guys that they're bringing back, like Williams, Hodge, and Ross. So those guys played meaningful minutes on that NCAA tournament team. So, yeah, Wilmington will be right there once again. I don't know if I'm going to have a win it. I'm down to 3 teams, shockingly, and I'm still deciding. I think everybody can guess which 3, but dude, this is going to be a fun race between those top teams. This guy came into the party last year. Brian Earl in year number 1 did a great job. Earl in year 1 finished second in the CAA. Sorry, no, they did not. They finished second his last year at Cornell. What did they end up finishing? Fourth.
Like top 5, yeah.
So, yeah, they ended up having the 11-7. And that was the best finish for William & Mary in quite a while, all things considered. Because before that, under Dane Fisher, they were 10-23. So, yeah, Earl comes in. They stumbled down the stretch. They were second before they lost their final 3 games to Wilmington, Towson, Northeastern. They ran out of gas there. But I went to a William & Mary game. I had not seen a crowd like that at Bill & Mary. So the Tribe headed in the right direction, 17-15 year 1. They play way faster than they have in the past. He did a great job at Cornell as well, going 96-103, but he also had to build that up as well. Last year, he went 22-8. Noah, do they build in Williamsburg off of last year's success?
So for me, I was really impressed by Brian Earl last year. I did not think he had a outstanding roster, yet he had an outstanding result. William & Mary won a lot of close games last year. I think they went 5-1 by my hand count in winning 2 possession games or less. And that's a good recipe for having a top 4 finish in a conference. And what else is a good recipe, at least in the preseason, and having a team that at least I like and a team that I believe has some ingredients to be really good is, man, they've got like 12 seniors on this roster that all could be competing for minutes here. 3 returners, Chase Lowe, Kyle Frazier, Kyle Pulliam, all of them played around 20 minutes a game last year. I think Lowe is your favorite to be the point guard. He did a little bit of everything last year, averaged 8.5 points, 5 boards, 3 assists, a really good defensive piece too. That would be my favorite to kind of earn a backcourt spot, but there's a lot of competition within this roster. Cade Haskins, a 6'6" grad senior from the Ivy League where Earl used to play. He was one of the key cogs for Dartmouth last year. Shot the 3 ball 36.5% on 7 attempts per game, averaged 9.5 points, 3.5 boards, 2 assists. He's going to have, a role for sure in that backcourt. 2 JUCO guys come in. Ethan Connery is 6'4" junior and Reese Miller is 6'5" junior. Connery comes in from Casper. Miller comes in from Blinn. Both of them really good JUCO programs. And then in the front court, there's some depth here too. Joel Emmanuel was like Fairleigh Dickinson's best player last year. 6'6" grad senior, played 33 minutes a game. 11-5 he averaged with 2 assists out of the 4. Also steps out, shoots the 3 ball well, 36% on 3.5 attempts. Killian Brockhoff transfers in from St. Louis. He barely saw the floor last year for the Billies, but I think he's a really interesting piece that might be able to pan out for them pretty well here. Finn Lally comes back from last year. He played 8.5 minutes. He's a 6'8" senior forward. And then 2 other guards that I haven't mentioned, but there's so much competition here. I'm not quite sure how much they're going to play. You have J.R. Ross, who comes in from D2 Winona State, and then Miles Hicks, a six flat senior guard who played 7 minutes a game for Earl last season. There's a lot to like with the Tribe once again. And last year they finished fourth. I think they're due for a little bit of regression due to how many close games they won last year. And they don't return a starter. They lose a lot of their top production from last year. But there's some good continuity here. I like the portal grabs. Brian Earl has continued to, put up good year after good year, whether it be at Cornell or here at W&M. I have the Tribe in the top half as well in this conference. I'm not maybe as bullish as some other people because, like I said, the close game factor worries me a little bit from last year. But William and Mary, I've got him in the top 7.
William and Mary, I think Brian Earl, first-year coach, did just fine, which I think we're going to see with Campbell this year, like we mentioned. But he adjusted well, and it's that style of offense that's going to make you tired in the second half and going into the half tired as well, because they're going to run and gun, they're going to keep you up tempo, and they're going to have a lot of guys that shoot, as you mentioned, Noah. And I think that style of play works just fine, even with those defensive teams that sometimes even try to match them if they can't really run and gun with this style of play. And that up tempo offense is going to work under Earl. So yeah, I think William and Mary is going to be just fine. They outperformed last season, and they're going to do that yet again this season. I think some people are more high on them, even with some pieces that they lose. They could take a step back, but I trust Earl and his offense. I think they'll be just fine winning some games. And the guys that finished 8th in this conference had 6 wins, or if it had 8 and 10, who finished 8th in this conference. So, there's still going to be winners and a lot of parity. And I think William and Mary is going to fit right in that bunch and be a wild card this season.
Yeah. You mentioned the depth on this team, Noah. He plays a lot of guys and he plays very fast. So I think that this team is a little bit of a wild card team with some of the newer pieces, but I also like the guys that are coming back that have been in the system. So I think they buy in once again, and they are right there in the middle of the pack as well. So yeah, that'll do it. 13 for 13. Let's give out our predictions.
I'm figuring out that I was relatively too high on this conference. I said a lot of top half, middle of the pack here for this. I really do think that after running through this with you guys, there's a clear top 3 and then the rest. If you drill 6 or 7 right on the dot of where they are going to finish, kudos to you. Hell of a job. But yeah, I think this conference has a lot of mumble jumble in the middle here.
Yeah, I think A&T is going to be dead last for all of us, correct?
Correct. 13th.
Yeah, and they could be like
or whatever it is.
2 and 16 bad. I see this next place being like 7 and 11.
Yes. It's like tiered systems, I feel like. It's like the top half, that middle, and then the bottom half. It's like simply tiered out perfectly, like a 3-layer cake or something.
Yeah. Damn. I'm going to go Elon.
I have Elon 12th as well.
Yeah, but I don't dislike Elon.
I hate going across the board. I had Elon 12th, and we did the CAA preview a couple weeks ago. They just lack talent compared to these teams.
Yeah.
I love Taylor.
Plus, last year they had a top 4 offense. Like, just on paper, there's no way they get back there this year. I think that's your team that's taken the biggest step back.
And number 11, I'll go Campbell. But like I said, I could like this team too. First-year head coach. Take some growing pains.
I have 11. I have Stony Brook. Geno Ford, he has a great backcourt, but young, inexperienced depth. It's a seesaw program. I know that, but like we just said it, 8 or 9 wins, and I still think that you're near the bottom of this league maybe.
I got Drexel here at 11th. I like Drexel, but talent-wise, I think they're only going to be able to compete defensively, and they're really going to lack scoring, and it's going to be a problem for them in this conference. I like Spiker. He could be a winner, but a step back this season yet again for Drexel.
All right, and number 10, I got Hampton at 10. year
At
two of
10,
Thomas, but I think they somewhere near where they were last year.
yeah, at 10 I have Hampton as well. It's a really good defense. On paper, the roster's not nearly as talented offensively as some others in this league, but I mean, Thomas was able to get the most out of last year's roster. I believe he's gonna not finish in the basement, that's for sure. So
I got Stony Brook at 10th.
At number 9, I got Monmouth. They do lose a couple big pieces off of that team last year. They do have a couple pieces back. I think this is a 500 team in the league this year. Monmouth.
9, I've got Northeastern. I'm cautiously optimistic about this team. They return a lot of experience in shooting, but they have no depth. I mean, it's just an iron 5 that I really do like, and then I'm nervous if just one guy misses a couple of conference games. This is a bottom half team.
My 9th is Monmouth as well.
Number 8, I got Geno Ford and Stony Brook with those guards. Let's go.
Number 8, I've got Campbell. First year head coach and John Andrzejek, but I mean, very analytics driven. It's going to be a 3 and D team. I like some of the pieces here, but year one under a new head coach, I think they're kind of in the middle. 8 is a nice spot for them.
At number 7, I'll go Bill and Mary here. Year 2 of Earl. I think they have another solid year here.
Oh shit! I think I might have skipped one. My 8th was actually is Hofstra. I don't think I went there. I'm not too high on them like you guys are.
So
I think we're on 7. Noah, yeah, my bad.
7 Monmouth. I like the blend of returning production, hand-picked portal grabs here. I think King Rice has something brewing.
At number 6.
Oh shit! Sorry, I just because I messed up. I'll do 7 at My 7th is Hampton. I like Thomas.
Okay. At number 6, I got Drexel. Spiker finds a way to stay in that top half, grinds it out, grinds some games out that he shouldn't.
I have Drexel 6th as well. He's had 4 straight top 3 defenses, man. Like, that's going to get you a high floor.
Yep.
No, it's not. No, I'm just kidding. 6 is Northeastern. I like Northeastern. There's the cautiously optimistic.
I like it.
Northeastern 5, baby. Bill Coen cracking the top 5 again with those veteran guards.
You guys are both higher than me, and I think I was talking most glowingly about him.
It's Bill Coen. You know I was going to be high on him.
5, I've got Hofstra.
Oh, Staples.
I've got Hofstra 5. 4 straight top 2 defenses in the league. Last year, they had the second worst offense, though. Like, I like some of the pieces offensively for this roster. It's not a high bar to just be better than inept. But, yeah, the floor fell out on them last year. I think Skerry's going to get them back into contention. Claxton's going to get them back into contention. I've got them in the top 5, but 5 was as high as I could go.
5th for me is William and Mary. I think they just have another good season, just short of another top 4.
4, I got Speedy Claxton and Hofstra. They get back to the top 4, just like they were the previous couple years. So I get the pride.
I really like the experience of William and Mary they've got on this roster. You have 12 seniors competing for minutes here. It's the most experienced roster in the CAA. I got the Tribe 4th. I'm buying into what Brian Arrow's doing with William and Mary. It's like you said, Mac. They haven't been this good in a long time.
4th for me is Campbell. I think we have Hofstra and Campbell switched on our previews hype-wise. I think they'll be just fine, and we see some beginner's luck in this conference like we did last year with Earl.
At 3, I'm going to go Charleston again. I think they go back-to-back third-place finishes. They don't bring back a ton. I do trust Chris Mack. They are talented. But give me 3 for these Cougars.
I'm gonna cop out and say tie for 2. I couldn't choose one or the other of this team. There's some pros to like about both. Towson is definitely a contender because they return their best 2 players here, but the depth really scares me. and that's not a play on words with their coach Pat Skerry, who's had 4 straight top 5 defenses in this league. You gotta like him possibly being able to develop some guys that are incoming here, but at the same time, there's just so much talent in the Charleston roster. They're bound to have a better defense this year with Chris Mack. There's really good shooting. It's really hard for me to decipher them 2 for 3, so I'm just gonna go tie for 2 on those 2, and then I got UNC Wilmington winning to separate that.
All right, I got third. I got third is UNC Wilmington, but I think this is going to be separated, like you mentioned, maybe a half game or a game. So top 3 consists. I got third UNC Wilmington.
I got Towson 2. Wilmington wins a regular season. I think Siddle and company, they flip flop. Towson won it last year. This year, Wilmington wins a regular season.
2 for me is Charleston, and then Noah. Then 1 is Towson. I think Towson repeats it, but they fall short yet again of the NCAA tournament. I want them to. I think they're depleted from an NCAA tournament. I think it's like since the 80s or 90s. I can't remember, but I hope that they get back and Skerry gets them to prominence. So you can fact check me if I'm wrong on that, but I think it's been a while.
Yeah, the only thing that scares me with UNC Wilmington and me picking them to win it is they've got a lot of kind of mouths to feed. Quite a few guys played in this league last year for different teams and were one of their go-to guys. And now you got them all on one roster. And it checks all the boxes for me, but I'm a little bit nervous. I've got Towson winning the conference tournament. I got them finally going to the NCAA tournament. Again, like a really nice guard forward duo there. And in a tournament, you can play your Iron 5 if they're all healthy and make a little bit of a run. So I like Towson.
Year after the year.
Year after the year. 1991 last NCAA tournament appearance. So
year after the year. Towson choked it away last year in the semis. This year they're going to knock off Wilmington. They flip-flop in the regular season, but Towson wins the conference tournament. Wilmington ended their drought. Towson's going to end their drought next year.
I have Towson winning as well and winning as the regional or winning the regular season. So they're going to sweep the conference just fine.
You have Towson winning the conference tournament too?
Yep. I don't think
thought
they're
you
going
said you had them not getting over.
I said maybe flip-flopping, but yeah, I think I have. Sorry about that. But yeah, I do have Towson winning it all, just sweeping the conference. So
sleeper. Shoot, I didn't pull up. Do they have a media poll out there yet? Preseason poll.
Northeastern.
They do. So CAA's got a preseason poll this year, or out right now. Towson's number 1, UNCW 2, Charleston 3, Bill and Mary 4, Hampton 5. Monmouth 6, Campbell 7, Hofstra 8, Northeastern 9, Drexel 10, Stony Brook 11, Elon 12, NCA&T 13. Higher on Hofstra, higher on Drexel, lower on Hampton for me.
Higher on Campbell, I guess. Higher on Northeastern, and then lower on Monmouth for me.
Sleeper, Northeastern and Hofstra are going to be my 2 sleepers based off that poll. And then it sounds like the bust for me are Hampton and Elon.
Yeah, based off the poll, I'm going to go Drexel sleeper and then disappointment. I don't even know if this is necessarily a bust. I mean, 5th is kind of crazy for Hampton. I've got them 10th.
I'm a little higher on Hampton than you guys are, but I had Monmouth, disappointment, sleeper, Northeastern. Come on, Mac. Let's go, Bill Coen.
Oh, yeah. Get it going, baby. CAA in the books. SoCon up next, and then the summit after that in football. Part 1 of a quadruple double, whatever the hell the term is. But yeah, go check out the Pump Fake Pod with Michael Huffer at Michael_Huffer3. Go check out Noah Bienick at NoahB77. I'm at Moneyline_Max. See you knuckleheads, you jackasses here in about 5-10 minutes. Where we'll start on that SoCon. So cheers, everybody. This is the college basketball experience, CAA style. It's always the Colonial. You better start thinking about yours. And we are out of here. Cheers. football game starting shortly.